In this video, we're going to talk about economic blocks, what they are, what the stages of integration are, and we'll also cover the main economic blocks in the world today, all right? All of this in a lively, concise way, just the way you like it. Let's go. Hey everyone, hope you're well. I'm Paolo, your geography teacher, and it's great to have you on Geo Illustrata. Today we'll discuss economic blocks. I just ask you to stay here with me until the end of the video, all right? So you can really understand, because this topic is a bit complex, I think it might even lead to two mind maps. All right then, let's start by talking about globalization. Professor, but isn't the video about economic blocks? Yes, but the thing is, you can't talk about one without talking about the other. So what exactly is globalization? Basically, it's the process of bringing countries and people closer together, connecting them, and integrating cultures, politics, and also the economy. And what makes this process of globalization possible are new technologies, especially communication and transportation technologies, making the whole world interconnected. Another striking aspect of globalization is the internationalization of capital, which refers to the expansion of companies beyond their places of origin into various locations around the world. I'm not going to go too deep into the topic of globalization because there's already a video here on the channel explaining it in detail, okay? The link is in the description and also in the card up here. And it's this whole process of globalization that makes the emergence of economic blocks possible, all right? But what exactly are economic blocks after all? Let's talk a little about that now. Basically, we're going to see a sharper rise in economic blocks starting from the end of World War II, which, as I already mentioned, is mainly made possible by the advancement of globalization. Besides that, another event that will influence the emergence of economic blocks is the end of the Cold War, which comes with the collapse of the Soviet Union and the end of the bipolar world. With that, there is an increasing competition among capitalist countries in the search for new consumer markets. In addition to the union of nations into regional economic blocs to facilitate access to markets, it also makes mutual assistance between them possible. So, these are just some of the factors that will contribute to the emergence of economic blocks during this historical period. Professor, but you haven't said what economic blocks are. All right, here it is. A simple definition of economic blocks. So we can say that an economic bloc is an intergovernmental agreement between countries in which trade barriers are limited, reduced, or eliminated. So its goal is greater integration between the countries in the bloc, allowing the free movement of goods and also of people. But pay attention to something essential. This integration between countries doesn't happen in the same way in all blocs, because there are stages of integration. So, while one bloc may be at a more advanced stage of integration, another may be at a slightly less advanced stage, and each of them has its own characteristics. Let's talk about that now, the stages of integration. The first and most basic is the free trade area, which aims to eliminate internal tariffs between the countries of the bloc. The second, which is the customs union, provides for the establishment of a common external tariff, called CET, which is nothing more than a common tariff among the countries of the bloc when they trade with countries outside the bloc. The third stage is the common market, which will also provide for the movement of people, services, and capital. And the last and most advanced is the economic and monetary union, which provides for both a common currency and unified economic policies. Just one thing about this. Each of these stages will also ensure all the benefits of the previous stages. It's kind of like those subscriptions you sign up for, you know? The most advanced one, which also includes all the benefits of the more basic ones, is kind of like that. So, the economic and monetary union will also ensure all the benefits of the previous stages. And there's only one bloc that's at this stage, which is the European Union. But we'll talk about it at the very end of the video, all right? So hang in there. And look at our first mind map. How nice. Now let's move on to the second one, covering some of the main economic blocks in the world. And speaking of mind maps, check out our Geo Illustrated Mind Map Kit, all the channel's videos in mind map format to help you with your studies. Oh, and the price is really affordable, okay? So don't waste time. Check it out. Link is in the video description. Let's start by talking about it, our Mercosur, which stands for Southern Common Market. But don't be fooled, okay? Despite the name, it's not actually a common market. Back in the stages of integration that we just saw, it never actually became a common market, staying at the customs union stage. So the Southern Common Market is actually a Southern Customs Union. Let's talk quickly about its creation process. Back in 1990, the ALAC, the Latin American Free Trade Association, was created with Brazil, Argentina, and Mexico as its proponents. In 1980, it was restructured, and the ALAD, the Latin American Integration Association, was created. And later in 1991, we finally had the well-known Treaty of Asunción, through which what we know today as Mercosur was finally created, with Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay as members. Later, Venezuela joined, but it ended up being suspended. But look, do you want to know a little more about Mercosur? There's already a video on the channel talking exclusively about it, okay? The link is here in the video description and also in the card up here. Since we've talked about the Southern Bloc, let's now talk about the North American Bloc, which is NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, which came into effect in 1994. Creating a free trade area between the United States, Canada, and Mexico, which aimed to increase market access among the countries and also to put an end to customs barriers in the region. But look, something very important happened in 2020 when NAFTA was formally replaced by the USMCA. US stands for United States, M for Mexico, and CA for Canada. That's when some changes happened, like, for example, stricter rules on the trade of certain products, such as the automotive industry, for instance. Let's move on now to our third section, which is APEC, which is also quite well known. APEC is the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation. It was founded in 1989, but it was only officially established in 1993. In short, APEC functions as a forum where decisions are made by consensus among the member countries. And its main goal is to reduce tariffs and trade barriers among the countries that are bordered by the Pacific Ocean in order to strengthen trade in this region. And here we have some of the most powerful countries in the world, including the United States and China, offering even more dynamism to the countries in this bloc, mainly through the presence of China. And now finally, here it is, the European Union. And let's do it again, just like we did with Mercosur, a brief overview of its main stages of creation, all right? Because it was a long process. Starting back in 1951 with the European Coal and Steel Community, which had as members Germany, Belgium, France, Italy, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. And its main objectives were, as the name suggests, to integrate their industries, both coal and steel, making trade easier. In addition, another important aspect was to prevent new conflicts in Europe, which had just come out of two major wars in a very short period of time. Later, in 1957, we had the Treaty of Rome, which aimed to create a common market, allowing the movement of people, goods, and services. And here, taking a big leap in time, in 1993, we had the Maastricht Treaty in the Netherlands, which finally formalized the creation of the European Union. It also laid the foundations for the creation of the euro and actually established an economic and monetary union among the countries of the bloc. This finally happened in 1999 when the euro was created. However, although it was only created in 1999, it actually started circulating only in 2002. The European Union actually deserves a video just for itself because it involves a lot more things than what I summarized in this video. And if I make that video in the future, I'll leave it here in the card above, all right? So if you watch this in the future and the video's already out, it will be up here in the card, okay? And to wrap up the video, let's just give an honorable mention to the BRICS, which are not an economic bloc. Don't be fooled, all right? Exams often try to trick you with that. BRICS is just a group of countries with common characteristics, right? They're emerging economies. But I'm not going to talk about BRICS in this video, no, because there's already a video explaining everything you need to know about these countries. It's on your screen now, along with a video about globalization that also expands on what you saw in this video. Thanks to you who stayed with me until now. Don't forget to like and share. It really helps a lot. See you next time. Bye-bye.